Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to...
I first started cycling about 2 years ago. I first started doing triathlons, and then later on a cycling team approached me about making the transition. And so I've been doing cycling now for about a year.
Are there any specific training requirements or qualifications needed to pursue a career as a professional cyclist?
There are no specific qualifications that are needed, but within saying that, you need to have a certain level of fitness to be able to compete at a national level.
Determination.
My training includes 7 mornings a week, and pretty much training every day and almost every afternoon, whether it be a strength session, a personal training session, or an endurance ride. All up, this adds to about 600 to 800 k's a week, depending on what races I have coming up or tournaments.
In the mornings, how long is your endurance ride?
They're about 3 hours to 4 hours, depending on the distance. I usually do about 80 to 120 k's. Recently, the last tours that I've been involved in is the Canberra cycling tour, which is just below national level. The nationals that was held this year, and the Australasian All-Schools Championship. Well, one of the most influential people that has helped me get to the level that I'm at today would have to be my cycling coach, who's Rob Johnston. He's pretty much like helped me from ground up where I just started cycling to where I'm at today. He's really helped me get a lot of places like Australasian All-Schools Cycling Champion for the road, time trial and hill climb. And also Bikebug also has helped me out with sponsors with cheap bikes and free clothing.
And just a cool down lap for Rylee Field.
Cool one for Rylee, just taking it slow.
Tell us about your prize money and sponsors.
Prize money can be won at each tour, and there's a certain amount of money for each stage. This can vary between like what events it's held at, like if it's a club event or a national event. The most you can get for a stage is around $3,000, so that can accumulate to about $8,000 depending how you go at the end of the tour.
Getting the rollers out. Rylee, what do the rollers do?
They're for warming up.
And so your bike sits on it?
Oh yeah, I'll show you. For warming up. And balance.
Yeah, I can see that. Spin side to side.
Side to side.
So how long do you warm up on this before you do a race?
For a time trial, it's about an hour.
About an hour.
And then for a road race, about 20 minutes. The conditions and restrictions that every athlete is faced, well, the obvious one would be the gear restrictions, which is a limited rollout, which allows for the bigger kids and smaller kids to be equal. Because some kids are bigger and develop earlier, which allows them to ride and push like heavier gears, which makes them go faster. The other normal like restrictions and that would be all cyclists have to obey by normal road rules, which would be riding on the left-hand side of the road and listening to the commissaire and all the instructions that he gives.
What are the most rewarding aspects of cycling?
The most rewarding aspects of cycling would have to be personal development and growth as an athlete. I really believe it's what you get out, is what you put in. So how much your dedication or the motivation that you put towards the sport really reflects in your results. Furthermore, it helps with income.
What are your prospects for the future as a professional cyclist?
My future prospects right now is focusing on next year's nationals. If I perform as well as I did last year, coming first, being able to represent Australia at the Commonwealth Games and the Junior Worlds. This will allow me to either be selected by a European cycling team, which will pretty much guarantee my future in the sport, or if that's not the case, the Australian Institute of Sport will hopefully take me on to train there and then eventually make the leap over to Europe to race there.